Good morning, y'all. It's me again, Miss Elceda. In this video, I'm going to be explaining to you the practice guide, the annotation guide for writing the DBQs. I got an email from the AP coordinator, and she said that a lot of y'all are signed up to take the AP exam. So while you're deciding whether or not you should take the exam or not, whether you've paid or not, I'm going to go ahead and prepare y'all for it. I'm talking 110 of you. So I have 140 students aimed at you all. So if you look at this page, it's pretty clear cut. It has the old format of the AP exam, and then it has the new format. So the new format is what I want y'all to focus on. It could be typed or written by hand. You will have 5 minutes at the end in order to upload your documents. So you'll have 45 minutes to write it, but only 5 minutes to upload it. You're going to have 5 documents instead of the 7, and the grading rubric is going to be 10. So this is the best way to prepare for the exam. You need to time it. Do not take the exam for the first time without practicing any. And I have been putting some DBQs for you on the test prep and on the test classroom, the AP tester's classroom, so that you could get information there. So with 45 minutes and no additional reading period, you don't have time to waste. Yes, it's open notes. Yes, it's open text, but you have to have that ready. So you're going to have your paper with your sentence starters. You're going to have maybe the period quick cheat sheets that I put on the testers group. You're going to have whatever you have available, because you will not be able to be looking things up in those 45 minutes. I guarantee it. So make sure you read through the documents quickly and pay attention to how you manage your time. Oh, you have cows.
No, pigs.
Pigs in Minecraft. Cool. Ooh, more pigs. That's pretty cool, right? Yes, pigs. Okay. Let me see. At first, you may write too much or too little on the guide, but over time, you'll know how much you have to write. You'll know if you have more time or too little time. The online format, it can be taken on any device, but try not to do it on a phone or a tablet, because you may not be able to see the documents all at once, and you may have to read tiny text. Also, you need to take notes on paper and then type it out. It is time consuming. And again, you only have 45 minutes, so try to get that done. Strategy: as you practice for the exam, focus on earning the easiest points first. So if you want to take the exam and the topic is not your favorite topic, like, I don't know, transportation revolution or something, Gilded Age, then you're going to want to focus on getting the easiest points first. And this is the rubric strategy. This is going to make or break your grade. If, again, you're not a WHAP genius who's already taken and passed the AP exam. So you'll see that there's 3 columns: 6 points, 8 points, and 10 points. The 6 points is what most AP teachers, most history AP teachers are assuming will be the passing grade. And again, it has the basics. It has your thesis, describe 2 of the 5 documents, use 2 of the documents to support your argument, use 2 pieces of outside information, and then source at least 1 of the documents. That's HIP. So what this means is you put your thesis, you put your 2 documents. This does not mean if you get a document on the creation of the cotton gin, don't just put the cotton gin was created by Eli Whitney. You need to put the cotton gin created by Eli Whitney, totally expanded the institution of slavery because blah, 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 and then put some info on that. You have to describe the document. Now, when you're doing HIP or sourcing for the document, you would put the purpose of this document was to showcase how the cotton gin expanded it, or the belief of the person who wrote this document or the author of the political cartoon wanted to explain how the cotton gin expanded slavery. What is it? Oh, wow. Are those cows?
Yeah, they're foxes.
Boxes. Cool. And then the outside information. Now, the outside evidence means something not in the document. So if you're getting something on the transportation revolution and you get a document on, let's say, the cotton gin, Erie Canal, the creation of the steam engine, or whatever, anything not specifically in those documents can be used. So yes, you could put the mechanical reaper, the one that goes like this that I showed y'all, or you could put, the steel plow. You could use the Manifest Destiny picture. As long as it is not in the documents, you can use it. Okay, I also have to tell y'all, if it's in the document's description, you can't use it for sourcing. So if it says in a speech to Congress, you cannot put the audience's Congress. It's already in there. You'll have to use another one. Now, let's look at the 8-point column. It's the same as the 6, except you're adding sourcing for 2 documents and context. So I've read most of y'all's DBQs, and some of y'all don't quite grasp the concept of context or contextualization. What this means is it's about 20 years right before it happened. It could also be 20 years after, but it's easier to set it up. So if you're writing about the transportation revolution, then you would put, before the transportation revolution, people would go by horse-drawn carriages. It would take 8 weeks, 8 months, whatever, to travel. So you would write about how it was before and then put, however, the transportation revolution completely changed that. That would be your contextualization. Normally, you put that in the first paragraph, which is why I like to group it with a thesis. So maybe that will help. Again, a second piece of sourcing for the document. So if you get a document that's about John Deere's steel plow, then you could put the purpose of the steel plow was the John Deere believed this. So if you can do that, you'll get 8 points. Now, if you're my overachiever, and you know who you are, or you just want to overachieve for the first time, hope I didn't offend y'all with that comment. But if you want to try the 10 points, then you're going to have to support your argument with 4 documents. This does not mean just list the documents. This means support your argument by going back to the thesis. So if your thesis statement says the transportation revolution completely transformed the way people lived, worked, and politics or whatever, whatever, then you would put on there with your document, the steel plow totally revolutionized it by this. So always go back. Now, do you all remember that handout I gave you that has how to write the formula for how to include the documents? It's in your binder or your spiral. Okay, I'm going to attach that as well to this post so that you can have that ready. If you have a printer, I recommend that you print it and have it there with you, with the sentence starters, with the cheat sheets, with whatever you need. You need to have those basics. And then, of course, complex understanding. That's what we call the unicorn point. If you can compare it to a different era or put an alternate view, then you've got it. For example, if you're writing about how the transportation revolution completely changed American society and politics and all of that, then you would have to put how it didn't, how it made things worse. However, it brought pollution, or, it totally destroyed all our rivers because of the riverboat traffic, whatever. If you put an alternate view, and it has to be how many sentences? 4. It has to be 4. Aim for 4. Land among 3, but try not to do 2. And if you do that, you've got your 10 points. Now, if you try to do those 10 and you get close, then you have 8. If you aim for 8, maybe you'll get 6. I would recommend you aim for 8. That's just my recommendation. Now, this next part is the annotation guide. The annotation guide is going to be something that if you have a printer at home, you could print out. I'm going to fiddle with the settings and see if I could put like text boxes on it or convert it to Word so that you could type onto it. But it is an annotation guide. So if you want to use one of the DBQs that I give, and I'm going to create a folder in the testers group in Classroom where there's just a whole bunch of DBQ topics with documents that you could refer to. You can use one of those that interest you. Here, if you look here, you will briefly summarize the document in your own words. You're not quoting. Then what argument could be made? How will it go back to your thesis statement? And then, of course, source it. So point of view, context, audience, or purpose, and you'll write it there. Then do that for documents 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this is just basically HIP. What's the document? What argument can you use? And HIP. Then after you go through the documents, write down 2 pieces of outside information. So again, anything that's not in the documents. I know the one that y'all just did on period 3, a lot of y'all used the Boston Tea Party and I want to say what act? A lot of y'all were using the Quartering Act as well, closing the port of Boston and the Intolerable Acts. A lot of y'all were using those. So anything not in the documents, and there is a lot of information not in the documents, you put it there. Then what would be some good ideas for context? So what happened right before? Okay. If you go to the next page, it's the pre-writing worksheet. Now, this is when you have like gobs and gobs of time just lying around. Body paragraph 1, you put your topic. So political, social, economic, religious, intellectual, things like that. And you would put the document numbers there, sourcing, and then the outside info. For body paragraph 2, the 2 documents, the sourcing, and the outside evidence. And that's it. So this one sheet you can have so that you can practice. You can have it just blank, and then you could just go through the steps on the paper. But these really will help you. Again, I don't want y'all to start looking at this on May 14th. You really need to start working out. The exam is in 1 month and 3 days. Okay? So you need to try to do this at least once a week because we have such limited time. For those of you who signed up for the exam and haven't paid for it, the district is coming up with some kind of game plan in place so that you can make payments without having to actually go to the school. I'm assuming online. And as long as you've signed up for it, as long as you're on the list, then you should take the exam. If you don't want to take the exam, take it. Just take it. You're never going to have another opportunity to take it like this at home in your pajamas or whatever. So if you're second guessing, second thoughting, you've already emailed me and told me you don't want to take it, take it. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. I will be here.